So I'm 41 years old, I have no friends, no life, my job is to spread fad diets. Does this mean it's over for me? I think there's hope. So I just did a 5.5-day dry fast, no food, no water, and during that time a lot of revelations were hitting me, and one thing that came to mind is, why don't I have friends? Like I know a guy a couple towns over, but we never see each other. I see him maybe once every couple months. Great guy. If we lived closer, we'd be hanging more, but I have this aversion to making friends, and I'm asking myself, why is that? I'm a likable guy. I could be liked. And then it hit me. I have a lot of past traumas with my friendships. I think every single friend I've ever had has done something weird to ruin my life. So looking back in kindergarten, my first friend ever, Lincoln, I remember he was a new guy in class, and I was like, hey buddy, let's hang. And we go to his house, and he's showing me porn. And I'm like, we're 5 years old. What is that? Why are you watching this? I'm not even ready to deserve this. So it's that was weird. Leave my airspace, you bunch of vaccinated hobos. So moving on up, I remember grade 3, I made another friend, and I was like, hey buddy, you want to come over after school? He's like, I'll be there. I'm there. And so I'm waiting on my lawn for him after school. I'm all excited, we're gonna play Nintendo or something. I don't know what we're gonna do. He never came. I was like, what happened? I saw him the next day. I was like, I thought you were coming over. He's like, oh, I forgot. I never talked to him again. That was my only friend. It lasted 17 seconds. Now, it doesn't help that I'm constantly moving and switching schools. I'm always the new kid. So coming to grade 4, I actually made a bunch of friends, and I was pretty popular, and we were playing football at recess. I was in with the boys, and then my cousin comes over, the worst influence in my life, and he says, let's prank call your friends. I'm like, okay. And we did. We prank called each of them, and then they all got together the next day and said, you're out. And I was the loner. And I was like, shit, now I have no friends again. Oh, good. And so I made friends with a nerd, but we had a lot of fun times smoking weed, making music. I was on the drums, he's on the guitar, we're playing Nirvana songs, and life was good. And then he turned on me somehow. I forget what even happened. I was like, he asked me to bring over the weed he left one day, and I was like, oh, okay. And then he smoked it with his friend there and didn't offer me any. I was like, cool, I'm out again. So then I move again across the city for grade 7, and it was just 1 year there, and I made some friends. I made a Russian friend. We hung out, we were like best buds, and it was great. And then when I moved away, we still kept contact, but then he came over and stole something from me. Now, admittedly, it was something I stole off someone else, so it was instant karmic reactions, and I deserved it. But I was just thinking, I know you want it. He keeps asking me for this Walkman, and I was like, no, it's mine. And then he's like, I gotta go downstairs and get something, before he left. And I was like, I knew he was gonna take it. And in my mind, I was like, you take it. If that thing's gone when I go down, we're never talking again. And we never did. So there's another friend, gone. So it seems to just keep happening. I meet people, then something goes haywire, and we're done forever. And so I really envy people who had friends since high school or even earlier, and they were a group of 5 friends, and they're best buds, and they're going out to dinner, and they stayed that way for life. They're all in the same town. It's wow, that must be nice. Oh, I'll just contact my buddy because I'm feeling blue. Who do I contact? I have no one. And so grade 8 hits. I don't think I made any friends that year. It was a weird year. We're all coming of age now. I wasn't ready for it, man. I remember being in school, and they said, we're doing a play. And they were like, okay, take her hand and kiss her hand. I was like, what do you mean, kiss her? I've never kissed a girl in my life. I'm just gonna do that? I'm not ready. She's like, okay, kiss your own hand, loser. And I did that. I was like, I'm a loser forever now. There you go, miss. So that was a weird year. Things didn't go well. And then high school hit, and I made a bunch of friends again, but it seems I don't know, we had different interests back then. It was a lot of drugs, and drinking and video games. And then eventually, like, I lost interest in that, and all these friends, some were lying to me. My best friend Junior accused me of robbing his sister. I was like, what? We were best friends. Why would I ever do that? I could not believe it. I used to buy weed off his sister, and every time I went, she would smoke some with me for free. I was like, thank you so much. Like, I would never hurt anybody. And then she got robbed. And he was like, you did it. You knew where her weed was. Like, what are you talking about? So it's like that friendship died. And like some of my best friends, like they were just dishonest. One of them borrowed money off me one time and it's like, okay, you gonna pay me back? He's like, yep. Never heard from him for like the longest time. And then he ends up with a lot of problems and it's like, okay, that friendship's over. Another friend just lied constantly. I'm like, okay, we're done. So it's like now I find myself, do I want friends? Like I have this built-in traumatic syndrome where I'm like, friends suck, they'll hurt you. Not all people are like that. I remember a couple years ago, I went to work out in a calisthenics park and I met this guy and he's asking me questions and we hit it off immediately. Like we just had this chemistry. We're working out together and he's like, oh man, let's work out more. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going downtown to return a phone. And he's like, I'll come with you. And we went for a walk and we're talking about life and the law of attraction. I was like, wow, I can't believe we hit it off so quick. He was Iranian. Wow, what did that have to do with anything? And then he gives me his number. I never call him. I have no idea why. Probably because of these built-in traumatic experiences where I'm like protecting myself from people. And it's just, I don't want to go there. So like even now with my buddy lives many towns over across that lake, I rarely call him because I don't want to get too invested in another friend and be hurt in the gut. And that brings us to life's biggest question. Do we need friends? I think we do, but there's another part of me, the creative side, that likes my alone time. I like meditating and thinking of things and then creating beauty, slow-matic sequences of things, bees flying. So I appreciate my alone time to create, but then it's also really nice to have friends to talk to about all life's problems. If you go through this whole life and you're just alone, depends. If you're just alone in a mountain, maybe there's not a lot of problems. But if you're in the city with our current world, where like everything is just like, why are we lying to each other? Why is there so much greed everywhere? I need to vent. It's nice to have some friends for that. But I notice that whenever I leave the house, I'm not looking to interact with people. I'm like walking very fast to my goal. Just right there, to the store, back, boom, done. Instead of like enjoying the time and maybe meeting people along the way and talking about life. So I'm still happy. I still have my fiance if I need to talk to someone. I don't do a lot of socializing, and that's not a problem. If you don't have friends, just at least do something with your time and create things so you can say like, oh, I don't have friends, but look what I made. I made this song. I made this like rock bed. It's comfortable. It's more comfortable than it looks. There's a boat. So boat-like. At least you're doing something. That's why I always say, like, if you're at home and you're just watching TV and you have no friends, then, wow, like, what are you showing for your time alone? Like, alone time is for creating or discovering things inside of you and then, like, working on them, working on your demons, facing your fears. So do something with your time or go out with friends. It's just meeting the right friends is tough. Like, I don't need a bunch of fruitarian friends. We don't have to be that aligned, but I'm not going to go with people who are drinking alcohol. Like, okay, and they're smoking and shit. Like, well, let's go for a barbecue. It's like, okay, wrong crowd. Abort. I want to say it's also this city, Toronto. It's just, I don't know, you walk down the street, everybody is so like me, just going and busy and non-talky. And it's like, but the right personality could make friends anywhere. So that's a built-in excuse on my part, but whatever. How many friends do you have? Is it more than me? More than one? You could thumb up for pity at least. The reason you're thumbing down this episode could only be because you once made a friend. He was in an insane asylum. You visited him. Just because you bring an insane guy who's locked in prison some rice cakes doesn't mean he's your best friend. I'm jealous. Can you introduce me to your insane friend? He's less sane than me. Wait. More sane is what I meant. I'll leave. I'll just walk into this lake. The cinema was ours, my friend. Oh, there's a guy. He's stealing my scooter. He took it right off. Can you hear his footsteps? You couldn't. At least he walked behind the camera. I'll walk into the lake now. Are those huckleberries? Probably not. They're red. Does that mean they're poisonous? There's ducks down there. Am I scaring them? Probably. Is that seaweed? Is that edible? I'm not gonna further go. They're just gonna walk right in front of it. Yeah, they don't. That's why I have no friends. It's people like you.